As you can see, the crew members have dimmed the cabin lights inside Orion. As they prepare for their lunar flyby, they'll be configuring the cabin as they'd like to have it to allow for proper positioning as they move about to and from the windows, taking photos of the moon. Dimming the lights also helps prevent reflections from inside Orion onto the windows. Ahead of this lunar flyby, let's dive in and explain what you can expect over the next several hours. The crew has about 6 hours allotted to make observations about the moon. Throughout the flyby, their activities have been precisely timelined. There are five blocks of time during which the crew will be observing the moon from Orion's windows. At any time, 2 members will be at the windows working in a pair. One crew member will be taking photos from window 2 with a blue shroud over the window. This can help prevent that glare or reflection from inside Orion. They have an 80 to 400 millimeter zoom lens to use. The other astronaut will be in window 3 using their portable computing device, you'll hear that referred to as PCD, to make annotations. Both of these crew members will make audio recordings of what they are seeing, and they'll wear headsets connected to those PCDs. Those audio recordings will be sent to the science team at a later date. We will not hear them live. The 2 crew members at the windows will swap roles and positions halfway through their timelined block. The other 2 crew members who won't be at the windows at that time will be serving in the background as support. One will be conducting the science sit reps, or situation reports. This is what we will hear live from the crew. They'll be calling down a few times each hour to discuss what they are observing. Those situation reports include how the crew is positioned, any missed targets, or anything unexpected they saw, lunar target descriptions, any hardware issues, and of course, their emotions and reactions as they fly by the moon. The other support crew member will take pictures of the astronauts at the windows and serve as camera support, providing new SD cards when needed. There's a 15-minute time frame between each observation block during which the 2 support members switch places with the crew making observations. Two views, both coming from Orion. There on the left, the inside of the spacecraft, and on the right, a view of our moon, the destination for today. During the lunar flyby today, Orion will provide astronauts with a full disk view of the lunar surface. They'll have a higher vantage point, much farther than Apollo's lunar orbits on average. And these astronauts can observe both holes and large-scale geologic features in a single view. And due to our April 1st launch date and current illumination conditions, the Artemis II astronauts have become the first humans to directly observe certain far-side regions of the moon with unaided eyes.
जे आपल्या उघड्या डोळ्यांनी चंद्राला पाहता येतं बघा त्याच्या दुसऱ्या साईडला ही खूप मोठी उपलब्धी आहे ह्युमनसाठी आणि इतक्या डीप स्पेसमध्ये आजपर्यंत कोणीही गेलो नाही. एक मिशन झालं होतं अपोलोसाठी, त्याच्यामध्ये थोडंफार झालं होतं की ह्युमन दुसऱ्या साईडला जाऊन अनफॉर्च्युनेटली ते गेले होते आणि आले होते, पण आता तसं नाही आहे.
5 theme leads came together and really discussed and talked through which which targets we could then see and prioritize. And so that made it into our plan. We worked then with timeline to make sure that all the targets are visible. Some targets are time dependent, like Earthset or Earthrise, and some targets will rotate out of view when Integrity starts going around the moon. And so we put these in early so that the crew has a chance to describe those to us.
Fascinating. I cannot wait to hear what they have to say. So we just heard them say that their long lens is configured. That's very exciting. And for us, when we look at the moon from Earth, what features are we seeing that the crew will also fly by today?
Yeah, so I really hope that people on Earth who are in nighttime will look up into the moon tonight. The features that the crew will see that we can also currently see is Aristarchus Plateau. Grimaldi is another feature. They're going to be sort of on our limb. And then Oceanus Procellarum, that really dark, large area on the near side that we can see. The crew is going to see that in the beginning. The more they fly around, the less of that they will see. So those are targets we will hear them describe early on in the flyby.
Fascinating. Well, and the crew has been training for years for this day. And so we're going to hear them make a lot of calls about what they are seeing on the moon. And they're going to use a lot of interesting terms that I myself need some brushing up on. So could you walk us through a few of the things that we'll hear them use to describe the moon, like albedo, exosphere, ejecta, just some of those major terms we expect to hear from the crew?
Yeah, of course. Albedo is basically a term of a reflectiveness of the surface. And so high albedo usually for the moon means bright areas, and low albedo means like darker areas. And so when you look into the night sky, you can see the high albedo areas are the white parts and the low albedo ones are the darker areas. Ejecta is when you have an impact and it ejects or throws out material that then ends up on the surface, and you can see that as sort of rays or ray systems. So you might hear them describe, I can see Ohm, for example, with its rays. It has an isometric rays coming out, and so we're excited to hear them describe that. You might hopefully hear stuff about color or color hues, and so if they can see any changes in those color hues from like white to gray to maybe brownish, we're excited to hear about that. Exosphere is the almost no existing atmosphere of the moon. It's barely there. But there is dust on the lunar surface that can get lofted up through electrostatic forces. And when the sun goes behind the moon, it can scatter forward on those dust particles and sort of like create a little glow on the horizon. And so we're really excited to see if the crew can actually see that.
This is so exciting. Thank you so much for walking through all of that with us. Julian Gross, Artemis Curation Lead, we really appreciate you joining us here today, and good luck to your team.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
We are now MET 4 days, 18 hours, and 49 minutes into the flight of Orion. This view of the moon from the Orion spacecraft as we get closer and closer. We're live here in Artemis Mission Control at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, just about 32 minutes away until the crew surpasses the record set by Apollo 13 as the farthest astronauts to ever leave Earth. This view coming from a camera mounted on the tip of one of Orion's 4 solar arrays. Each array has a camera on its tip, and so we anticipate getting views throughout the lunar flyby. Of course, except during the point of loss of signal when the spacecraft flies behind the moon. Inside the cabin, the crew are configuring the inside of Orion for today's flyby, making sure they have everything just where they want it to help them take the pictures that they are aiming for the science team here on the ground. Coming up in just a few minutes, we will have a pre-lunar flyby conference. During that Lunar Flyby Science Crew Conference, our science officer here on console, Kelsey Young, will be speaking directly with the crew members about their targets, about their goals for today, what they expect to see, and what we are hoping to hear from them. We have a lot of milestones coming up today, so make sure you don't miss them. The first coming up again at 1:56 p.m. Eastern Time, the crew will pass the distance from Earth record set by Apollo 13 in 1970. At 2:45 p.m., lunar flyby officially begins. The crew will have that time on their schedules to begin photographing and providing audio recordings of what they are seeing on the moon. At 7:02 p.m., Orion will make its closest approach to the moon, approximately 4,070 miles away. Of course, all of these numbers are going to have to be confirmed following the flyby. These are estimates, and we are working with orbital mechanics. At 7:07 p.m., Orion reaches its maximum distance from Earth, approximately 252,760 miles away from us all. At 8:35 p.m., the spacecraft will enter a solar eclipse. The crew will become the first to see a solar eclipse from the moon. Ahead of the official beginning of flyby today, Kelsey Young, Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, will be conducting a pre-lunar flyby crew conference. She will give information on camera setup, remind the crew of their intended targets, answer questions from the astronauts, and more. Young will help the crew set their targeting timeline, which counts down the time they have to image each target and what they'll be capturing next. She'll also remind them that the ground team will be calling for science sit reps, also known as situation reports. Those are essentially call-downs to report what they've been observing. They'll continue to do this even through their LOS, their loss of signal, as those communications will come down later on after they reconnect with us on Earth. This view in the cabin, you can see the crew members are already using their cameras, getting set up, and they have dimmed the cabin lights to allow them better visibility outside of the windows and fewer reflections.
Houston is ready for the conference, passing you over to
humans
science.
to travel farthest from our planet.
Good morning, crew. This is Science. We couldn't be more excited for a full day of lunar and planetary observations today, the first one in over 54 years. How do you hear me?
Houston is ready for the conference, passing you over to
We
science.
hear you loud and clear, and Kelsey, you just got to know you're pulling us away from the moon right now, so let's go.
Good morning, crew. This is Science. We couldn't be more excited for a full day of lunar and planetary observations today. I did just want to start with a thank you on behalf of the Lunar Science team and the entire lunar and planetary science community, of which you are absolutely a part, for what you've already done in this mission and what you're going to do today to inspire the next generation of scientists. I have to say, Moonjoy is the new term that's already become our team's new motto, so thanks for that. In this conference, we'll cover hardware and config reminders, and then I did just want to start with a thank you on behalf of the lunar science team and the entire lunar and planetary science you already have your which you are absolutely a part for what you've already done in this mission and what you're going to do today to inspire the next generation of scientists. I have to say, Moonjoy is the new term that's already become our team's new motto, so thanks for that. In this conference, we'll cover hardware and config reminders, and then I'll just briefly, as you said, cover today's science plan. I'm assuming you already have your LTPs up. Confirm that, and I'll jump quickly into the cabin config reminders.
His own, and Jeremy has his own.
Copy that. That was going to be one of my questions for you, and I'll ask a question back. Is that the config that you and Christina plan to carry throughout the day for PCD use?
You've got Reed and Christina on one PCD, and Ike has his own, and Jeremy has his own. Negative, Kelsey. Our plan for PCD use is we have run the power cable.
Copy that. That was going to be one of my questions for you, and I'll ask the question back. Is that the config that you and Christina plan to carry throughout the day for PCD use?
PCD will be in window 3, and we will do that the whole day, and then the red PCD will be a rover. Negative, Kelsey. Our plan for PCD
Understood. Super helpful. Recommend when you guys switch in and out of PCDs to add your initials to your OneNote annotations, just so we can keep track of who's who. And then, given that you have 3 PCDs instead of 4 for the data transfer at the end of the day, recommend making a new subdirectory entitled For Science. Understood. For super your helpful. Recommend when you guys switch in and out of PCDs to add your initials to your OneNote annotations, just so we can keep track of whose is who. And then, given that you have 3 PCDs instead of 4 for the data transfer at the end of the day, recommend making a new subdirectory entitled For Science for your own photos, or with your initials, that we can keep track of which pictures came from which flashcards.
So, Kelsey, I just want to here's what we're doing. We have community cards in all cameras on board, and then when each astronaut approaches their camera, the intent is they will put their card into that camera for photos and then put the community card back in at the end of the session. But just know it is harder to manage cards than we thought, and we don't want to miss science. So it might end up a bit more disorganized. Here's what we're doing. We have community cards in all cameras
Understood.
on board.
Thanks for that essay. Just read the flashcard numbers down when you get a chance, and we'll follow your lead on the best thing to do operationally during the flyby. With that, I'll move on to Windows. So the window characterization DFTO you guys did a few days ago confirmed that Window 2 is ideal for imaging. Understood. Thanks for that no change essay. To config of photographer in Window 2, observer in flashcard numbers down when you get a chance, and we'll follow your lead on the best thing to do operationally during the flyby. With that, I'll move on to Windows. So the window characterization DFTO you guys did a few days ago confirmed that Window 2 is ideal for imaging, so no change to config of photographer in Window 2, observer in Window 3, and science at reps in Window 1. Coming up on a handover. Be back with you shortly.
Hang on, Kelsey. The way we have it configured, tell us if this is going to be wrong. Window 2 is the long lens with a shroud.
As you heard, Science Officer called to the crew. We are now in a handover time period. We will regain communications with the crew very shortly. These are tracked, and we are currently on the Deep Space Network. This is the first time humans have used the Deep Space Network in over 50 years, given that we currently use the tracking data relay satellite systems for the International Space Station. This view from Artemis Mission Control Again, we are just about 22 minutes until we reach the Apollo record. We are in a handover of satellites with the crew aboard Orion.
For the Z9 and solar. Shroud for the Z9 and solar. Will be for visual observations. Window 3 will be for visual observations, and window 4 is for floater.
Thanks Integrity for that, Reed. We had a handover during that time, so I'm going to have to ask you to get that read back on window orientation for the crew again.
Okay, we are happy to change it, but the way we have it configured right now is window 1 has a T-shirt shroud for the Z9 for solar, window 2 solar, shroud for the log lens for both lunar and solar, lens for both lunar and solar observation, window 4 is for floaters, and window 4 is for floater. So we've done a lot of match windows as well. So we've done a lot of mapping through that as well.
All right, copy all, Reed. A note just on the window 1 T-shirt shroud that you can remove that for the lunar observation log if you want to, if you want that extra view for another floater. But for you guys on that, you are to use the full 400-millimeter zoom on the long lens. 400-millimeter zoom on the long lens. Keep the end of the lens flush with the window to prevent imaging through the multiple imaging through the multiple window panes at an angle. And if you have to take an image at an angle, the max focal length to 200 millimeters, or simply acquire the images at multiple focal lengths. Last imaging as a result of the DSTO is that if you can take the images out of the left side of window 2 where possible, that is the best half the window. That is the best half the window. Understand that might not be possible with the shroud. Any other imaging questions from you?
Okay, copy that.
Okay, last couple reminders. Don't forget the ability to take the wave files to tag the wave files to tag imagery that you are wanting to follow up on using the FN3 button on your camera. A couple quick notes on your LTP. And then a couple quick notes on your precise flyby timing. We have refined your precise flyby timing since generating the correct timing for the LOS and AOS. Timing for the LOS identifiers for LOS and AOS for LOS and AOS than they will be in 2 minutes later than they will be in reality. Final LTP timing line on your LTP should start automatically 45 minutes automatically. 45 minutes before the flyby. If it doesn't appear, let me know and I'll have troubleshooting steps for you. Last updates are on the eclipse. So only for that last hour today. So only for that last hour today. Of course, remember if the sun is in view to use your reminder that we will have a few activities for you prior to the eclipse to reconfigure all 3 cameras for corona and deep sky observations. Some of which will occur during the forward link LOS. Any questions before I cover the last 2? Any questions before I cover the last 2 reminders?
No, we have no questions on that.
Last couple eclipse reminders. Sunset reminders and the first roughly 23 minutes of the eclipse will fall during that forward link LOS. And we're still looking forward to your science sit reps and observations during that time. And I do have reminder for you on your preferred starting config for the eclipse. Let me know if you want me to read that responsibility. Let me know if you want me to read that up in your minds already. And if no other questions on config, and if no other questions on config, I'll give you a few science-focused reminders.
Give us a quick high level, but we see it in Optimus. But give us your quick Kelsey high level.
Okay. Okay. A couple changes from the first LTP studied are that Glushko is the only feature is that Glushko is the only feature that's reading Jeremy. That's why that's reading Jeremy. That's why that's the only target you see that is marked as 1 of 1 and 2. So Ohm and Oriental are in there twice, but they're Ohm and Oriental are in there twice, but they're marked accordingly, which is why you don't see them marked accordingly. From feedback on your observations so far, feedback on your observations so far, a reminder that if you note structure and texture, as well as structure and texture, please note any correlation between the two, and also reminder that negative observations are still valuable science. So a lack of color or a lack of structure associated with color is also valuable. A reminder also that your observations so far indicate to adjust. We especially heard that around your terminator observations and your terminator observations. So reminder to know that your come in throughout your shift and let us know when you start to see that nuance. And let us know when you start to see that nuance. Last reminder is when you're viewing around Earthset and Earthrise, you'll be looking directly at Asia, Africa, you'll be looking directly at Asia, so I'm sure people watching from those places here on Earth will want to give you all a wave as you take their picture. Any other questions from me? Any other questions from me? For me.
And Kelsey, hey, when you're talking window 2 left and right side, window 2 left and right towards window 1 or towards window 3, and then we'll know that we are talking the same language, and then we'll know that we are talking the same language.
Absolutely. So I mean that closest side of window 2 is closest to window 3 is preferred for imaging.
Okay, the side of window 2 closest to window 3. The side of window 2 closest to window 4 recording. Stand by, we'll talk to crew for recording. Stand by, we'll talk to crew.
Again, we are in our pre-lunar flyby science conference with Kelsey Young. Kelsey Young is the Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, speaking with the crew aboard Orion. They've been training for this moment for years, and this is their last opportunity to get
Kelsey,
some further pointers and information.
For the T-shirt is the crowd, we'll have window, is it window 1 or window 4? Best view, is it window 1 or window 4?
The only time we're strongly recommending use of the window strip.
For the window, which window is primary for Z9? Which window is primary for Z9?
Window 1. Window 1.
Okay, awesome. So we have got that all set up. So we have got that all set up. Window 1 is the most important window by the food warmer. Most important window by the food warmer. Window 2 is in front of seat 1. Window 4 is on the starboard side by the side hatch. Is on the starboard side by the side hatch. Do you agree with all that?
We agree on the ground. Good readback. We agree on the ground. Good readback.
Okay, that's awesome. Kelsey, we're going to close with happy words. Kelsey, we're going to close with happy words. I wish you were up here to see all the smiling faces. I wish you were up here to see all the smiling faces being thrown around. And we are being thrown around. And we are just let me pass the mic around to anybody else anything to add. Let me pass the mic around if anybody has anything to add.
Kelsey, it's so great to hear your voice on the loop. It's so great to hear your voice on the loop. Everything that you guys are probably feeling, everything that you guys are probably feeling. It is awesome to see the side of the moon. It is awesome to see the side of the moon. You guys made us excited for this anymore, and we are ready to hopefully deliver on all the awesome training you guys have provided.
I'll just add, Kelsey, it is blowing my mind. It was blowing my mind when you can see with the naked eye on the moon right now. It's just unbelievable.
Kelsey, and to the whole lunar science team,
all of you, all the work you put into this,
thank you for the timber for going, and thank you for the timber for we can see them, and we can see them with can even see with the naked eye. Quite impressive. Thank you so much.
Beautiful words, you guys. Thanks so much. And I beautiful words, you guys. Thanks so much. And I got video of the science team right now, and they are all absolutely buzzing. Looking forward to today.
Okay, we're heading into the timeline. Cheers, guys. Okay, we're heading into the timeline. Cheers, guys.
Of the pre-lunar flyby science conference with Dr. Kelsey Young. Young has served as the Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead, getting the crew ready. And we're live in Artemis Mission Control in Houston, but we are not the only room monitoring today's flyby. As you heard Young mention, in this same building and just down the hall, a multidisciplinary lunar science team supports the Artemis II crew in real time, including experts in lunar geology, impact cratering, volcanism, polar science, imaging, and visualization. There are two integrated facilities, and the first is the SIR, which is what you have right here. That's the Science Evaluation Room. They are embedded within Mission Control to provide science input during live operations like what we see today. Additionally, and not pictured, we have the Science Mission Operations Room, a back room that processes data, evaluates imagery, and supports rapid analysis. Our science officer on console in Mission Control Houston serves as the primary interface between the science team and the flight controllers, ensuring science priorities are represented during mission execution. Again, today, that's Dr. Kelsey Young, who will be speaking with the crew during the time they're behind the moon. We will be speaking with her once the crew is behind the moon and out of communication with Earth. Back inside the Orion spacecraft on your left, closest to the camera, NASA astronaut Christina Cook. To her left, NASA astronaut Reed Wiseman. To his left, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. And all the way in the back, NASA astronaut Victor Glover, our Artemis II crew. We are now approaching 8 minutes until the crew surpasses the Apollo 13 record. Currently 12,599 miles away from the moon, 248,507 miles away from Earth. You may also hear the Orion spacecraft referred to today as Integrity. This was named by the Artemis II
Integrity crew. We have Reed's family in the viewing gallery. You're welcome to say hello. In the viewing gallery. You're welcome to say hello.
Well, whether you're being serious or you're kidding around, that is awesome. Or you're kidding around, that is awesome. Hello to Elliot Katie. I don't know who else to Elliot Katie. I don't know who else is in Mission Control right now following along. We are having a blast up here following along. It's absolutely blast up here, and the view of the moon is absolutely amazing.
I'm seeing a lot of hearts come out of the viewing gallery, and even more come out of the viewing gallery, and even more smiles. Thanks, Reed. Copy heart. Copy bracelet. Copy heart. Copy bracelet.
That call from Capcom, Jenny Gibbons. Canadian Space Agency astronaut and Artemis II backup crew member letting Reed Wiseman know that he has family here to support him today in the Artemis Mission Control viewing room. As I was mentioning, we have the Orion spacecraft flying today. However, the Artemis crew members named their Orion spacecraft Integrity, so you will hear calls to this entire crew with the name Integrity. They say that the name Integrity embodies the foundation of trust, respect, candor, and humility across the crew and the many engineers, technicians, scientists, planners, and dreamers required for mission success. This view live from the outside of Orion as we continue. Preparing for our lunar flyby, now less than 5 minutes from surpassing the record set by Apollo 13 astronauts for the farthest humans to travel from Earth. This will not be the farthest that Integrity travels today. They will continue until they reach approximately a distance of 252,760 miles. That would be about 4,105 miles farther than Apollo 13. However, these numbers are our targets, and we will get confirmation on those numbers as soon as we possibly can and share them with you all. We talked a little bit about what to expect from the crew, whether that's taking photos or making audio recordings. To get a little more detailed, Reed Wiseman and Jeremy Hansen will be up first to capture imagery and record audio on the portable computing devices. You hear those referred to as PCDs, while Victor and Christina serve as the support members. The crew will switch windows and roles halfway through their shift, and 1 hour and 5 minutes later,
आता अवघ्या 3 मिनिटात ते चंद्राच्या मागे जाणार होऊ शकते आणि त्याच्यानंतर जो कनेक्शन आहे ते लॉस्ट होणार. मग 40 ते 45 मिनिट्स पर्यंत कनेक्शन एस्टॅब्लिश होऊ शकणार नाही. त्यावेळेला ते फार साइड ऑफ द मून असणार आणि त्यांना तेव्हा चेक करणार आहे. ते सगळे डिटेल्स घेतील. नेक्स्ट टाइम जेव्हा ह्युमनला उतरायचं असेल तेव्हा बीट बाय बीट चेक करेल की कुठे उतरायचं आहे, त्याची फार साईड काय आहे, कसं आहे, आणि हे फर्स्ट ह्युमन असणार की इतक्या डीप स्पेस मध्ये जाऊन येत आहे. Cheer for them.
familiar with what the science team calls the Big 15. These are 15 features that they've memorized, so at any time they'll be able to see 5 of those and help orient themselves and where they are around the moon. Those targets are diverse and complex in their geologic history, and observations of them could help answer some big-picture science questions. If you've been following the mission, you can see that the configuration of the cabin is a little bit different than what it looked like on launch day. After ascent, the crew were allowed to reconfigure their spacecraft, and you can see that they've taken down seats. They have also taken away footrests. This gives them more opportunity to move about the spacecraft. Orion itself has 330 cubic feet of habitable volume. That's about the size of 2 minivans and is 60% more cubic volume than the Apollo spacecraft. We are standing by for the Integrity crew aboard Orion to surpass the Apollo 13 record.
Integrity crew. On April 15th, 1970, during the Apollo 13 during the Apollo 13 mission, set the record for the farthest distance humans have ever traveled from our home planet. At that time, over 55 years ago, and Hayes, level 248,655 statute miles away from Earth. For all humanity. Today, pushing beyond that frontier. Integrity, over to you. Integrity, over to you.
Yeah, from the cabin of Integrity here as we surpass the furthest traveled from planet Earth have ever traveled from planet Earth in honoring the extraordinary efforts and feats of our predecessors in human space exploration. We will continue our journey even further into space before Mother Earth everything that we pulling us back to everything that we hold dear. Most importantly, choose this moment to challenge this generation and this record to make sure this record is not long-lived.
Thank you, Integrity, and congratulations to you and the rest of the Artemis II team.
Thank you, Houston. We have a couple more things. We'd like to take this moment for science team. Our science team helped us out with a couple of craters on the moon. Relatively fresh craters on the moon, and our crew would like to propose a couple of potential areas for those items. Spent a bit of time this morning looking out the window, and both with our naked eye and through the long lens. Through the long lens, and so we feel this is a good time to send this down and helping us with this. The first one we'd like to suggest a crater in honor of our great spacecraft Integrity. Look at Oriental on the far side, and then draw on the far side to Ohm, and draw the line straight up to Relatively in the middle is an unnamed crater. Relatively in the middle is an unnamed called Integrity, and we would like to suggest it be called Integrity in the future. And the second one, and especially meaningful for this crew, a number of years ago we started this journey. Family and our close lost a loved one. And we lost a loved one. There's a feature in a really neat place on the moon. Far side. It is on the near side. Just on the near side of that boundary. Just on the near side of that boundary. And so at certain times, moons transit around Earth. We will be able to see this from Earth. We lost a loved one. Her name was Carol, the spouse of Reed, the mother of Katie and Ellie. And if you want to find this one, you look at Glushko. And if you want to find this one, you look at Glushko, and it's just to the northwest of that, and it's just to the northwest of that, and it's at the same latitude as Ohm, and it's a bright spot on the moon. And we would like to call it Carol, and we would like to call it Carol. Spell that C-A-R-R. Spell that C-A-R-R-O-L-L.
Integrity and Carol crater. Integrity and Carol crater. Loud and clear. Thank you.